How do you make McLaren's entry-level supercar even better? Well, sometimes it isn't at all about what you add. Sometimes it's more about what you remove. This is the Artura Spider, and with this, McLaren promises a car that uses its engineering prowess to the fullest. It promises an Artura that's more powerful and faster, and most of all, more fun to drive. Let's talk about the most interesting bit, the thing that makes a Spider, the retractable hardtop. This can work at speeds of up to 31 miles an hour, and it takes just 11 seconds to deploy. It's a beautiful piece of design with 8 separate electric motors. But what's really fascinating is the amount of engineering work that McLaren had to employ just to make it fit in the first place. In case you hadn't noticed, the Artura is mid-engined. More to the point, it has a very specific hot V turbo setup, where heat generated by the turbochargers is concentrated in a very tight area. To address this, hot air from the turbos is funneled upwards through what's known as the powertrain chimney, a device that cools the air from 900 degrees Celsius internally to 240 degrees at the exit. The chimney, if it were left in its standard position where it is on the coupe, which is just about here, would get in the way of the folding roof mechanism. So they've had to move it backwards by around 200 millimeters to make space. On either side of the chimney, you might have noticed these very interesting looking ducts, which not only make it look a lot more interesting than it does on the coupe, but they also serve a very important purpose. They're literally bending air to make this car do what it needs to do. 2/3 of the air on both sides is directed back here to cool the transmission, and 1/3 of each side does something completely different. 1/3 of the air on the left is sent via an S duct underneath the tonneau cover to keep the engine cool and also to stop hot air from escaping into the cabin. Meanwhile, 1/3 of the air captured by the duct on the right-hand side is sent underneath the tonneau cover and out through this exhaust vent. The idea behind that is it keeps a nice cool layer of air against your paintwork, because what you don't want is when you're moving for hot air to escape against the paintwork, damaging it. Last but not least, each of these flying buttresses, which are now translucent by the way, and they look absolutely stunning, actually capture air and send it to another duct just above the chimney. So what you end up with is a cool air layer, a hot air layer, and another cool air layer in kind of an air sandwich. Very, very clever. The final thing to note are these ribbed sections on either side of the chimney. Their purpose is to capture air and feed it into the muffler underneath to keep everything nice and cool. Very interesting and very cool to look at. There are a few key engine upgrades with the Artura Spider. Power delivered by the M630 internal combustion engine is up by 20 PS to 605 PS, courtesy of engine recalibration and an updated exhaust. The axial flux E-motor still delivers 95 PS, and together they produce an impressive 700 PS. The car might be 62 kilograms heavier than the coupe, but the power upgrade means it delivers a 480 PS per ton power to weight ratio.
What does that mean for performance? Well, it's quick, very quick. 0 to 62 in 3 seconds dead. 0 to 124 miles an hour in 8.4 seconds. 0 to 186 in 21.6. And flat out, you're looking at 205 miles an hour. The same top speed as the 765 LT Spider. Obviously, it has launch control, but there's also a new feature called burnout mode that basically lets you turn your McLaren into a Mustang. You get in, mash the throttle, and it lights up the rear wheels in a heartbeat, allowing you to do the biggest, smokiest burnouts and drift you can possibly imagine. I'll let you in on a little secret, actually. This car's big brother, the 750S, also has burnout mode, and a few of the drifts that you saw me do in that film on track were started in burnout mode. I'd start from around the corner, out of shot, mash the throttle, and then come around fully lit, and it is absolutely hilarious to use. The advantage that the Artura Spider has is that it's a hybrid, so you don't need to wait for the turbos to spin up. It's just gonna activate in an instant. This car is gonna be a maniac, and I am here for it. Revised engine mounts mean you should be able to better feel the vibrations from the 3-litre V6, improving the sense of drama. Those mounts should also improve the handling due to a reduction in unwanted engine movements on softer mounts, making for a car that's also more composed in the corners.
Here's another little detail that I'd never considered before, but McLaren clearly have. The Artura Spider has improved brake cooling, not to benefit advanced drivers on track, but to benefit novice drivers on track. Here's the problem. When you're pounding around a circuit and you're not really sure what you're doing, the ESC system will be switched on and it will constantly be braking at the individual brakes to try and keep you from spinning out. It's not such a big deal if you know what you're doing and you've got the ESC switched off, but when it's switched on, combined with those big braking events, the brakes can get unnecessarily warm. However, with these new brakes, not such an issue. Now, I know what you're thinking, I can't drive the Artura Spider. The wind will be too much for my precious comb over or wig, but don't worry, McLaren's engineers have actually thought of everything. See this? That is what they call a windscreen gurney, and it's just a little flap almost that's designed to kick the air up and away from your precious dome piece, yes. And that, in conjunction with the rear window in its default position, plus of course the side windows, should be enough to create a nice little cocoon protecting you from the harsh turbulence. They really have thought of everything. Inside the Artura Spider, there aren't many changes, but there are a couple that I will now show you. First of all, there's a new stereo system. Well, it's the same stereo system, but new speakers, including this new central speaker just behind my head, and also 2 speakers just above the seatbelt. Now, these are a lot closer to your head than they were on the coupe version, which means that you should be able to hear them a lot more clearly, especially when you've got the top down. And I've been told that Bowers & Wilkins, who make the system, have also optimized it specifically for the Spider, so it should sound good whether you've got the roof up or down. The car also has Apple CarPlay, and it's wireless. I can't show you it because this is a prototype, but I'm told that when the car finally comes to market, you'll be able to connect your phone wirelessly and have Apple CarPlay directly on the screen. The other cool feature in this car is a new wireless charging system. So you can actually push your phone directly into that. It will charge up without any cables, and McLaren say it's track tested. You can rag this car around on a racetrack and your phone won't fall out, allegedly. I know a man who can verify that theory. You're looking at him. The car also follows the HOTAS concept. No, not me. It's HOTAS, hands-on throttle and steering, which is what they mean by having your fingertips at your very obvious control. So on the left-hand side, usual McLaren thing, you got your handling and your powertrain adjustments to allow you to change between different modes as you're driving without taking your hands off the steering wheel. Apart from that, up here, you've got controls for the little glass behind you, so you can actually let more sound in or deflect the air over you. And you've also got your roof controls up here. Let's see how quick it is. 2, 3, 4, 5. They say 11 seconds. 7, 8, 9. So it's very quick. It's also got an EC, electrochromic sunroof system. So when you press it, it will go from not opaque, as it is now, to opaque all at the touch of a button. Yeah, quite like it in here.
The new Spider also gets updated driver assistance systems, including lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, not to mention all the benefits of having a plug-in hybrid powertrain, including the ability to start the car in EV mode and drive for 21 miles on the battery alone. Combined, you can expect just under 60 miles per gallon and 108 grams per kilometer. Not bad for a 700 horsepower supercar. It's worth saying, and this is a big one, that most of the changes, including the power upgrades, will also be rolled out to the Artura Coupe. Even existing owners can take their Artura to a dealership to have those performance updates added for free.
And there you were thinking it was just an Artura with the roof chopped off. No, McLaren always find a way to throw in some extra engineering to take things to all new levels. Will it be any good? Well, we'll have to wait and see. But if the 600 and 675 LT Spiders, not to mention the Elva, are anything to go by, then we should be in for an absolute treat. If they let me have a go, and I'm hoping they do, then I'm going to take you guys along for the ride as well. In the meantime, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.